Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. Today I want to share with you my opinion about these recent stories. So the first one comes and says that the Department of Justice of United States is promoting with the Senate the use of some anti-mafia laws to seize Russian assets. So what happens is the Department of Justice asks Congress for permission to use some laws that are called the RICO Act, to use them to take control, to be able to sell or take possession of some assets that were taken from Russian people as a consequence of the let's say the conflict in Ukraine, and these people that have been have had their assets seized are different kinds of people. Some of them are subject to sanctions, are with the excuse of this is that they are somehow contributing to Russia effort on Ukraine. Some of them have nothing to do. They are just called what they say oligarchs. So it's Russian people of Russian origin who have maybe a big fortune or some kind of millionaires, industrial people. Some of them are even rejecting that they have some connection to the Russian government, and they have had their assets seized. And now what they want basically is to include violations of sanctions and export controls in its definition of racketeering. So that's what they want to do. Is something basically arbitrary. They just want to artificially create some legal justification for their actions, because currently under the law the Department of Justice can only freeze assets that are deemed to be illicit, and these assets, for example, that belong to Russian oligarchs, as they like to call them, they are not illicit. It's just something that belongs to them, but they want to artificially declare that because they are violating sanctions, that means that they are illicit, and is just some illegal way to call something legal. That's what they are want to do. So they want to be able to take this and not violate their own laws, basically. But what I think it is, of course, this is something stupid. They want to cover their own actions and call them legal. But then there was this senator, Marsha Blackburn, and she said that this says, this proposal that will aid in the prosecution of the asset forfeitures for Russia, is that going to extend to other high-level cash-rich criminals like the cartels or the Chinese Communist Party? And they don't answer that in this article. I don't know exactly what was the answer for this, but it's something along the lines of what I think this is going to mean is that because this is artificial and just basically some capricious wish to confiscate assets from Russian people. But the question is very relevant, in my opinion, because right now they are just setting the precedent and they are setting up the conditions for this to happen to Russian people as well. So right now a lot of Russians will be seeing what is happening to Russia. A lot of Chinese will be seeing what is happening to Russia right now and thinking, okay, this can happen to us now. And as you know, Russian government is not investing a lot, for example, in bonds in the United States. Is a small amount compared to what China is investing. So if it happens something similar to what is happening now to Russia, but it happens to China, then the consequences of this will be, well, catastrophic. I don't imagine that China will be very happy with the United States taking possession of their assets or freezing their assets, as China is investing heavily in the Western economy, in Western bonds, for example. So if they were to declare that something belongs to the Chinese Communist Party, even if it doesn't, it is. They will have practically no limit on the way they could use this law or abuse this law to confiscate assets also from Chinese people. So that's kind of the essence of what I wanted to say about this. I think it is very, very bad precedent, and everyone is watching, so that decreases the trust of everyone on the American markets, basically. Now this comes again in the context of all the provocations that the United States is doing to China. And this one is, as you know, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was planning to visit Taiwan earlier in the year, but she didn't go, I think because she had COVID or something. And now she's going to Taiwan apparently next month, despite repeated warnings from China that the visit will escalate tensions between Washington and Beijing. There was even some declarations from Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian, who said that if Pelosi goes through with the visit, China will take strong and resolute measures to safeguard its sovereignty and territorial integrity. So if you have followed the channel, in previous videos I have always mentioned that it is a tradition of the United States to provoke China in different ways. For example, this is the latest, and it will be more significant because before it was also some representative, some senator, I think his name is Rick Scott. It's also very provocative, especially because he wants to create some kind of legislation to give the president some powers to declare war against China if something happens in Taiwan. But this is more significant because this is the representative of the Congress, and specifically they continue to do this kind of provocations. They do provocations like this freedom of navigation operations, which uses airplanes or ships to provoke China in the South China Sea, denying some territorial claims of China in an unilateral way. They do this to provoke reactions. And then China is regularly doing some acts that are seen as some kind of reaction to these provocations by the US, but regularly the United States calls these things aggressive when actually they are just reactions to the provocations of the United States. So they're not taking this seriously enough, and they continue to sell weapons to Taiwan and other things. We know where this thing can go, and this can explode in any moment, even by a small mistake. Some unforeseen event can happen or can make all this to really explode. And the last one is some kind of opinion from Nixon, where he is basically warning the Biden administration against endless confrontation with China. And he basically says that the United States shouldn't seek to provoke constantly China, but he says basically the US policy or American policy that it is important to prevent Chinese or any other country's hegemony. And this is something that, of course, is very dangerous, but is the tendency of the United States government from the start to not allow anyone to rise to the top place, and this is especially true for Russia and China, not only for China, but they want to prevent this from happening. And what he's doing is that he's suggesting that this is not something that can be achieved by endless confrontations. He doesn't say specifically how, but I guess that takes us into the kind of actions that Trump was doing, like creating this commercial war with China. So they want to prevent China from going to the top, and they are going to do it by any means necessary. That's what it seems. So Nixon is just representing probably a little bit more conservative actions, probably similar to what Trump was doing, but current administration and previous administrations have continued to do this in a mix of ways. So they're doing either sanctions or some kind of military confrontation, military provocations. And he's warning that increasingly adversarial relations between the United States and China risk a global catastrophe comparable to World War I. I don't know why he makes this specific comparison to World War I. I think this will be probably, without any proper context, much worse than World War I or World War II. Is, after all, a nuclear armed country, a country that has a strong military, strong economy, and if we are seeing these very great consequences on the economy of all the world, all the economies of the world, with the sanctions and all the reactions that the West is taking against Russia to try to isolate it, well, that will be incomparably worse if they do it with a conflict with China. So that's the current situation. Let's hope it will not deteriorate into a direct military confrontation, but we need to wait and see what happens. So that's it for now, guys. I also want to remind you of the opportunity to support my work. As a content creator, I need your support to get some benefits from my work. As you know, it's possible to support my work in different ways. In the description of every video, I provide some information about the different platforms you can use to support me. I produce videos, for example, for YouTube, BitChute, and others like Rumble. So you can choose which platform you can use to support me. And also you can support my work by liking this video, sharing it in social media, and subscribing to the channel. This will help, of course, my channel grow. So that's all I wanted to say for now. I hope to see you again very soon, and thank you for watching.